Nano. Today, the
Good
subject
morning, sir.
I have chosen is the systems of philosophy which are called Astika Darshanas or the Vedic schools of philosophy. As you know, India was a land of thinkers, philosophers, reformists, etc. for a very long time. Vedas are the most ancient literatures that have been preserved intact in India. There might have been some other literatures in other countries, but they have not been preserved exactly intact anywhere else. In India, we have preserved these Vedas without a change in any word or even in intonation, what we call swara. And so, the philosophy of our country starts with the Vedas. In the Vedas, we first find that various gods were eulogized, were praised by the priests. Indra, Agni, Rudra, Vishnu, all these gods were praised in the Vedas. But in spite of the fact so many gods were praised, the seers, the rishis, were very definite about the fact that all these are just different appearances of one truth. By various names, the same thing is called. Ekam sad vipra bahudha vadanti is a statement that is found in the Rig Veda. And therefore, the Sat is Ekam. It is only one. Vipra bahudha vadanti. The intelligent people call that truth by different names. And so, this idea of one principle governing this world, but appearing in different forms and being called by different names. This was the philosophy of the Vedas. At that time itself, they had very deep thoughts. There is one sukta in the Rig Veda which is called Nasadiya Sukta. Nasadasin nosadasi tadanim. They are saying that at that time, which we do not know, there was neither existence nor non-existence. Like that, the thought begins. How could this universe come into being? That was the great question that they were facing. Thus, these thoughts of the Upanishads are found in their seeds in the Vedas. The next stage is that of the Upanishads. Upanishad means something that is heard from the teacher directly when the disciple is sitting very near him. Upa means near, Nishat is to sit. One has to sit near the teacher and listen to him and understand these things. The Upanishads are more than 100 in number. The Muktikopanishad gives a list of 108 Upanishads. And these Upanishads actually appear at the end of the Vedas. And therefore, they are also called Vedanta. Anta means end. Vedanta, the end portions of the Vedas. It also means that is the end, means the purpose, the main essence of the Vedas. And so in these two meanings, Upanishads are called the Vedas. In the Upanishads, there is free thought. There are questions and answers. They are mostly in the form of conversations. For instance, The Kathopanishad is a conversation between a boy called Nachiketas and Yama, the god of death. And therefore, these Upanishads had given complete freedom to the students to ask questions to clear their doubts from their teachers. These Upanishads are the foundation of all philosophy of our country. All philosophies, all kinds of thoughts are found in the Upanishads. The Upanishads also lay much emphasis on real life. They were not just armchair philosophers thinking about the things that are above the sky, etc. They knew about the problems of real life. We have sentences like Yaschandasam Rishabhu Vishwarupaha Chandobhyodhyamritat Sambabhuva Samindro Medhaya Sprunotu Amritasya Devatharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam. My body should be strong and robust. It should be dynamic to understand things. So they had the same type of interest in the ordinary life as well as the life of above, the life that comes after death. On both things, they had their eye. And then these Upanishads were the basis of various types of philosophy, and that is the main subject. We say Shed Darshana. Shet in Sanskrit means six. Darshana means schools of philosophy. Philosophy, that word is from the origins of Greek. Sophie means love. Philos means knowledge. Philosophy means love of knowledge. And therefore, when one is going in pursuit of real knowledge, it is called philosophy. In our country, philosophy is not completely philosophy. It is always connected with metaphysics and religion, because we do not think that philosophy is just for clear thought, but it is also something to be adopted in our lives. And therefore, the view is different. We do not have an exact translation of philosophy. Usually, we use the word darshana. Darshana means vision, clearly seeing something. That is darshana. So, if you see the life properly, how in various aspects of life one has to live, then it is called darshana. These darshanas, there are many, many schools, but most importantly, we are thinking of six darshanas that were developed in our country for a very, very long time. These darshanas are more than 2500 years old. The first darshana that I would like to talk about is Sankhya Darshana. Please note that name, Sankhya. Sankhya has two meanings. As you all know, Sankhya means number. Sankhya is a system which gives importance to the various numbers of the real principles we call tattva. How many tattvas one system of philosophy is accepting? About that, they were very particular, and therefore they were called Sankhyas. The second meaning is Sankhya means buddhi, intelligence, intellect. They gave the highest importance to intellect, and therefore they were called Sankhyas. This Sankhya system is so old that even at the time of the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, that is about the 6th century before Christ, at that time itself, we see in the Tripitakas of the Buddhas that the Sankhyas were coming to Buddha and were discussing about the nature of truth with the Buddha. And therefore, you can imagine the ancient times of our country when these philosophies came into being. This Sankhya system looks at the world and sees there are two principles in this world. One principle is what they call Prakriti, nature. This Prakriti means, originally the word Prakriti means that which is changing all the time. Prakarshena kriyate iti Prakriti. That which is evolving, that in which you see evolution continuously. You look at the world, everything is changing every moment. Our body, every moment, many cells are being destroyed and new cells being produced. If you look at a tree, new leaves are coming up and old leaves are falling down. The tree is changing every minute. And therefore, this is called Prakriti. Everything that you see in this world is Prakriti because it undergoes change every moment. And then they accept another principle called Purusha. Purusha does not here mean a man. It means the soul, the Atman. The Atman is called Purusha. And so, according to this principle, this Purusha is unchanging. It remains the same all the time. It is the observer of this world, but not clinging to this world, is nirlepa. And so, according to the Sankhya system, there were two principles, Prakriti and Purusha. The Purusha, the Atman, the soul, is bound by Prakriti because you are seeing me, Nagaraja Rao, I am in a body. This body is the contribution, it is the gift of Prakriti to me. And therefore, I am bound in Prakriti. On account of that, according to the Sankhyas, every one of us has three types of dukkha. Adhyatmika, that which arises in myself. It may be my toothache, it may be my headache, it may be my stomach ache. I may be suffering from fever. I may be suffering from various kinds of diseases. All these things that occur in myself are called Adhyatmika Dukkha. And then I may be in danger, I may be suffering on account of other people. There might be some terrorists who are trying to murder me, to shoot me. There might be tigers or lions or wolves, various kinds of animals that may attack me and injure me. That all that is called Adhibhautika. Thirdly, the dukkha that comes to me is called Adidaivika, from forces which are not under our control. It is like the earthquake, it is like the tsunami. These things are called Adidaivika. In order to get rid of all these troubles, all these dukkhas, the Sankhyas say that one should escape from the net of Prakriti. For that purpose, they give a system how one should have the viveka, this discriminatory knowledge one should possess, and then he can escape from the net of the Prakriti. That is the point. Sankhya and Yoga, these are connected. Now, yoga is very popular all over the world. There are practitioners who are engaged in yoga in all countries. This yoga system was systematized by a seer called Patanjali. Patanjali is the author of the sutras of yoga. And then various commentaries were written on that. That is a different point. However, the yoga system accepted the ideas given by the Sankhya. So, yoga system also accepts Prakriti and Purusha. But what is required is, according to Patanjali, we have to accept one Ishvara. Ishvara, the master of this world, who is a Sarvajna. Sarvajna means omniscient, one who knows everything. So, this Patanjali made a special contribution to this philosophy, saying that there exists one Ishvara. And he gave a system by which it was possible to possess the viveka of Prakriti and Purusha. What was that? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. These were the 8 angas. Samadhaya, Angani, Yoga Angani. So these are the 8 steps through which one has to pass so that he can acquire the viveka and become a liberated soul. What is Yama? Yama, many people think it is the name of the god of death. Everyone is afraid of Yama. That is not what is meant here. Yama means the disciplines that a yogi has to follow when he is in the external world. We are living in a world, we have friends, we have enemies, we have officers. With so many people we have to deal with. And therefore, how to live there? She says, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yamaha. These are the disciplines that one has to follow. Niyamas are the disciplines that one has to follow in his inner life. We have 2 worlds. One world is the external world. Another world is within ourselves. In our mind, in our heart, there is another world. One has to follow the disciplines in the inner life also. Shaucha, Santosha, these are called niyamas. Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana, these are all niyamas that one has to apply in his inner life. So Yama and Niyama, there the yoga starts. And then comes asana. All of you know that in yoga, one has to learn how to sit, how to stand. Because Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. The body is the first instrument with which you can make any achievement. If the body itself is suffering, if the body is not kept in good condition, a person cannot accomplish anything at all. And therefore, the yoga system emphasized, stressed the importance of this physical body. For that purpose, these asanas, various asana is a posture in which you sit, in which you stand. For this, the inspiration came from the external world. We talk about Padmasana. Padma is a flower that is seen. Kurmasana, Kurma means a tortoise. That itself became an example how a yogi should sit, Shalabhasana. All these are different types of insects, birds, animals, all these things were taken, and thus the second system called Yoga Darshana, that emphasized these things. It also taught about how to breathe, even though everyone starts breathing from the very first moment of birth. It is necessary to learn to breathe properly. On account of proper breathing, the span of life becomes longer. It also gives a new dimension to the mind. Pranayama has such a great effect on the mind that the mind will have prasada, clarity. Pratyahara, all of us know that our indriyas, it may be the eye, it may be the ear, it may be the skin, it may be the nose, it may be the tongue. These drag us towards various objects of relish. One is so much fond of ice cream, let us say, and therefore he may invite various kinds of diseases to himself. One is inclined towards music, so much immersed that he forgets other duties. So, all these indriyas should be kept under control and should be withdrawn from the various objects. That is called pratyahara. And then dharana, fixing of the mind on one particular object on which one can conduct meditation. That itself, after fixing, if the same thought continues for a long time, it is called dhyana. And finally, as a result of this dhyana, one rises to a higher condition, which is called samadhi. This samadhi itself completely negates all the effects of karmans, and therefore one becomes fit, one becomes qualified to what Patanjali calls Kaivalya, the highest state of existence. So this was the second system called Yoga system. The first system was Sankhya, the second system is Yoga. And then we have the third system, Vedic system, orthodox systems. These are called Astika Darshanas, which means orthodox systems. The Nyaya system analyzed this whole world and came to the conclusion that proper knowledge of, he gives a list, pramana, prameya, etc. This list he gives. If one has a correct knowledge of all these fundamental principles, one can have the highest state of existence, nishreyasa. It is possible to live well in this world as well as have a higher life later by having the tattva jnana, the correct knowledge of everything in this world. For this, they gave highest importance to what is called pramana. See, we are all pramatas. We are all persons who can think about this world, who wish to know the right knowledge of this world, and the instruments that we use, they are called pramanas. These followers, these people of Nyaya Darshana, the third Darshana, they gave the highest importance to epistemology. Epistemology means the science of the instruments of knowledge. According to them, there are 4 instruments of knowledge. First is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha, probably everyone knows, it is direct perception. When I see something, I understand that it is a tree, that it is a pot, that it is a tiger. All these ideas come to us from pratyaksha. Directly I have seen, so that is the true thing. Everyone has to accept pratyaksha. Otherwise, there is no possibility of any argument, proof, anything at all. Everyone will have to sit silently only. And therefore, everyone has accepted the validity of the instrument called pratyaksha. It may be seeing, it may be hearing, it may be tasting. These are the means of correct knowledge. And then they also accepted what is called inference. It is called anumana in Sanskrit. Unfortunately, in Kannada, the word anumana is used in the sense of doubt. If in Kannada somebody says, Nangyako anumana, it means he has doubts about it. But originally in Sanskrit, the word anumana means inference. On account of the presence of a cause, we may think about the effect. On account of seeing the effect, we can think about the cause. At a distance, I see smoke rising up to the sky. What will be my inference? I infer that there must be some fire there, because smoke cannot arise if fire is not present. And so, even though I have not seen the fire, on account of seeing the smoke rising up, I infer that there must be fire. This is the basis for all scientific investigations, scientific experiments. You all know that. And then they have also accepted what is called Shabda. Shabda means valid testimony, the sayings of the people who have experienced. See, we read in the books of science that everything is made up of very small, tiny entities called atoms. We have not seen our atoms. It is not possible. Pratyaksha is not possible in its case. But on account of the statements by authorities, we are accepting that everything is made up of atoms. This is verbal testimony. This is also accepted by the Nayayikas, that is, the followers of Nyaya Darshana. They also accept what is called upamana. Upamana means comparing. Similarity. Similarity is upamana. Many things we understand only when it is said that it is like this. I do not know about an animal called gavaya. They say, go sadrusho gavaya. Gavaya is an animal that resembles a cow. So, suppose I go to a forest and there I see a gavaya. I understand that it is a gavaya on the basis of the similarity. So, these four instruments of knowledge has been accepted in the Nyaya Darshana. Its partner is called Vaisheshika Darshana. These two darshanas have almost the same ideas. It was the Vaisheshika Darshana that gave birth to atomic thoughts in our country. The Nyaya Darshana, further the sutras have been written by one Gautama, who is also called Akshapada. And the sutras for Vaisheshika have been written by Kanada. This Kanada was the father of the science of atoms in our country. It was he that stated that everything is made up of atoms only. And he says how from these atoms all the things in the world, how they combine, what is the result of their combination, and therefore various types of things are made. About these things he has talked about. That is called Vaisheshika Darshana. And then we come to another darshana called Mimamsaka Darshana. The word Mimamsa means study with reverence of anything. You might have heard, some of you, at least the Kannada professors should have heard about a book called Bharatiya Kavya Mimamse by Srikanthaya. There were two Srikanthayas in Kannada literature. One is B.M. Srikanthaya, another one was T.N. Srikanthaya. In Kannada, we call them B.M. Shri and T.N. Shri. T.N. Shri has contributed a book called Bharatiya Kavya Mimamse. Mimamse means study with reverence of the poetry of our country. That is Bharatiya Kavya Mimamse. Like that, there was a system called Mimamsa, which became a darshana, and this is also called Purva Mimamsa. I will tell you later why it is called Purva Mimamsa. This Mimamsa darshana gave the highest importance to ritualism. You all know that the Vedas ask us that we should perform various kinds of worships called yajna. It is also translated as sacrifice. These sacrifices, how to perform them, it has been said in the Vedas. And the Mimamsakas, that is the followers of the Mimamsa Darshana, gave the highest importance to these rituals that had to be performed. And here, in this system, action has the highest importance. That is Karma Yoga. The Vedas are divided into two sections, the Jnana Kanda and the Karma Kanda. I do not know what that disturbance is. I am hearing disturbances. Please keep your things mute, so that I do not hear the unnecessary sounds. So these Mimamsakas gave the highest importance to the rituals said in the Vedas. According to them, everyone is a soul and the goal of life is to reach Swarga. Swarga means heaven. And to reach this Swarga, the best way is to perform the rituals, what are called yajnas, that are described in the Vedas. And therefore, the Mimamsaka Darshana gives much emphasis on the householder's life. There are 4 stages of life according to Indian culture. The first stage is called Brahmacharya, which means student life. The first part of one's life is a student's life. The second part is called Grihastha. Grihastha means householder. It may be a man, it may be a woman. And all the rituals of the Vedas can be performed only by householders. When a man and a woman are there, it is possible to perform the yajnas. If a man is unmarried, if one does not have a wife with him, he is not entitled to perform any yajna of the Vedas. What are taught in the Vedas have to be performed by the couples. Like that it is said. And therefore, in Mimamsaka's Darshana, the highest importance was given to the life of a householder, Grihastha Dharma, as we call it. These Mimamsakas believed in the existence of a heaven, and as a result of all these sacrifices, it was possible to go and reach that heaven. For that purpose, what one should do, that was said there in the Mimamsa Darshana. So they accept the eternality of every Atman, and the only way to reach this Swarga, according to them, is by performing the sacrifices that were described in the Vedas. This is called Purva Mimamsa Darshana. Finally, we come to what is called Uttara Mimamsa Darshana, which is popularly known as Vedanta Darshana. Vedanta Darshana depends on the teachings of the Upanishads, and it negates the importance of ritualism. Ritualistic actions can bring the Swarga, no doubt, but that Swarga, etc., are temporary. Even if you perform an Ashwamedha, the biggest sacrifice, you will go to the Swarga, spend some time, and then you will have to return. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. It is like earning some money and going to a 5-star hotel. I might have earned 1 million rupees, and therefore I can go to a very posh hotel. I can stay there like a king. I am treated like an emperor. Everything is true. But how long? Only as long as that money is being given to them. Once the million rupees are over, I will be kicked out of that hotel mercilessly, unceremoniously. Everyone knows that. The heaven is also like that. According to the merit or punya that you have gained, you can stay in the heaven, but once all that punya is expended, it is spent, then you have to come back to this world to earn more punya. And therefore, the Vedantins, the Uttaramimamsa Darshana, says that the Karma Kanda is not much useful. It brings only temporary results, not a permanent result, not a permanent solution to the basic problem. For that, according to the Vedanta system, the only solution is that one should have the knowledge of oneself. Who are you? That is the biggest question. We know everything that is outside, but we do not know what is inside. We have answers for various questions, but who is the questioner? Who is questioning? About him, we are unaware. And therefore, the Vedantic system tries to give an answer for that. How the world came into being, the source of all this universe is called Brahman in the Vedanta system. That Brahman, according to some, is Vishnu. That Brahman is Shiva, according to others. According to many other teachers, that Brahman is formless. He can take any form, whether it is Shiva or Vishnu or Ganapati or Kumara, anything, any form, that great principle which has no form. The formless can take a form for only blessing the devotees. The real thing is formless. That is Brahman. In this Vedanta system, there are many schools. Some of you might have heard of some great philosophers of our country like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya. Shankaracharya was of the view of Advaita. Dvi means two. Dvaita means the principle of two, that is duality. Shankara followed Advaita, non-duality, the absence of duality. According to him, there is only one truth called Brahman, Brahma Satyam. Then how is all this world, all this universe in so many different forms? Jagan Mithya. Mithya means appearance. The Jagat is only an appearance in the Brahman. And each one of us, Jivatma as we call, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, this individual soul, which we say Atman, that is Brahman itself. It is not different from that. So, it is like accepting the ocean is one, drops of water are many. The waves that appear in the ocean, the circles that appear in the ocean, whirlpools, everything appears differently, but really there is only one ocean. The drops of water that may rise, they are also ocean only. Similarly, Every one of us is only the Brahman appearing in different forms. The appearances are not true. The real entity is only one, according to Shankara. But Ramanujacharya, who was in Karnataka in the 11th century, 12th century AD, see, in Melkote, his center was there. He believed in qualified monism, Vishishtadvaita. The whole universe which we see, including ourselves, is like a body of the great God Vishnu. Vishnu, you have all heard of that name, Vishnu, I believe. What is the meaning of the word Vishnu? Deveshti Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. One who is present in everybody. One who is pervading everything in this world. He is called Vishnu. And therefore, that great Lord is pervading all of us. He is the ruler. He is the only Chit. So he is Ishvara. He is the master of everything. Only according to his will, this world is coming into existence. It may disappear. A new world may be created. All, for all these things, kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. To create this world, not to create this world, or to create it in a different manner, everything is under the control of that Vishnu. Therefore, he gave a new philosophy. According to him, the form of Vishnu is permanent. He has all the necessary qualities. Akhila Kalyana Guna Paripurna, he calls them. And therefore, he gave a new philosophy which is called Vishishtadvaita. And then appeared Sri Madhvacharya, was born in Karnataka in itself, near Udupi, in the 13th century. And he gave the philosophy of Dvaita. Dvaita means duality. The Jivatman and the Paramatman are totally different. One cannot become the other. It is always the case that every Jivatman is a servant of Vishnu. This was his philosophy. Shriman Madhvamate Harih Paratara. Satyam Jagat. He maintained this world is not an appearance. It has an independent existence. The true God created the true world. Satyam Jagat Tattvato Veda. Always there is difference. Jivagana Hare Ranucharaha. All the Jivatmans are the servants of Lord Vishnu. Nichocha Bhavam Gataha. Among them, there is so much difference between one and the other. That hierarchy is always there. One Atman is inclined towards Mukti. The other Atman may be interested only in the worldly affairs. There are many people who go below and below. That also we see in this world. So this variety is true according to Madhvacharya. And there are so many different branches of this Vedanta. And so, to summarize, what I want to say is, these are called Shed Darshanas, the 6 Darshanas. The first one is Sankhya, the oldest, which accepted Prakriti and Purusha, and the knowledge, correct knowledge of Prakriti and Purusha leads to liberation. The Yoga Darshana, which accepted all the philosophy of Sankhya, added the concept of Ishvara, they added the concept of God. and said that there is a method so that one can reach liberation. And that method is what is called yoga. Yoga means uniting. Uniting the whole world together, that is yoga. It is also, yoga means samadhi, to reach the highest state. So that was yoga darshana, yoga system. The third one was called Nyaya Darshana. Nyaya Darshana is everything should be understood by argumentation, by discussion, by debate. One should arrive at the truths. And for them, the pramana or the knowledge of the instrument of knowledge was most important for them. Yeah, I should also say that for the Sankhya, the Sutrakara was Kapila. For the Yoga, the Sutrakara was Patanjali. For Nyaya, the Sutrakara was Gautama or Akshapada. And for the Vaisheshika system, which gave us the science of atoms, that was Vaisheshika Darshana, which originated from the sutras of Kanada. And then the fourth system was Mimamsaka, which gave the highest importance to rituals dictated by Vedas, and the sutras for them were written by Jaimini. Jaimini was the author of the sutras. And finally, there was Uttaramimamsa or Vedanta, for which the sutras were written by Badarayanam Vyasa. Badarayanam Vyasa. And in that Vedanta system, we have so many branches. Mainly these three branches. The first one is called Shankara system, Shankaracharya's system. It is called Advaita, where it is accepted that Brahman is the only truth and all other things are just appearances. That Brahman itself appears as Jivatman, and so Jivatman is nothing but the Brahman itself. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. That is his conclusion. And we also have the system of Ramanuja under Vedanta. He says qualified monism, that is Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta Advaita means he accepts the difference between the Jivatma and Paramatma, but says all the Jivatmans, all this world also, these are like the body of that God, Vishnu. And finally, there came this Madhva, who gave the Dvaita system of philosophy. There he definitely stated that the Jivatman and the Paramatman are totally different. They never can become one. Even after liberation or mukti, a Jivatma is just a servant of the Lord. Only thing is, after liberation, one can go and stay in the Vaikuntha permanently, seeing the God always. So that is his system. Thus, these six systems of philosophy are called Shed Darshanas. All these systems accept the authority of the Vedas, and therefore these are called orthodox systems. And in our language, we say Astika Darshana. Astika means one who accepts the authority of the Vedas. So this is the summary. And if any of you would like to know any clarification, if you want any clarifications, if you have questions, then you are free to ask them. And I will be ready to try to answer them.
Sir, this is Vasumati.
Yes, madam.
You said 4 stages of life. In that, you explained 2, Brahmacharya and Grihastha.
Yes. The other 2 are called Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. See, the first one is Brahmacharya. Brahma means Veda. Brahmachari means a student of Veda. So it means the student life. That is the first stage. The second stage is Grihastha. Griha means the householder, which means he is married and he is living with his wife, and therefore he has the qualification to perform the sacrifices described in the Vedas. The third stage of life is called Vanaprastha. After one has had children and they are able to take care of the home, he leaves all his responsibilities to them and goes to Vana. Vana is a free place, a forest, where he can devote all his life in the philosophical thoughts. That is called Vanaprastha. And finally, the fourth stage is called Samnyasa. Sannyasa means sam is completely nyasa, leaving the responsibilities of this world and completely engaging in spiritual achievements. After understanding all these things, one should put it into practice and realize one's own real self. That is called sannyasa. These are called the 4 ashramas: Brahmacharya ashrama, Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, and Sannyasa ashrama. This was the way of life followed in ancient India.
Thank you, sir.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ರೇವಣಾಂಬ ಅಂತ.
ಹೇಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಲವ್ ಅಂತ.
ಲವ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಲವ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜೀವನದ ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತತ್ವ.
ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಗ್ರೀಕ್ ವರ್ಡ್. ಗ್ರೀಕ್ ಭಾಷೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಸೊಫಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಲವ್ ಅಂತ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಅಂತ. ಜ್ಞಾನದ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ. ಥಿಯೋಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇವರು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಥಿಯೋಸಫಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು. ಹೀಗೆ ಆ ಪದ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಳಗೆ ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನು ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಕುತೂಹಲದಿಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೂತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೈವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಅದು ದರ್ಶನ. ದರ್ಶನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ರಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಗೂ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಕೇವಲ ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕವಾದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಅದನ್ನು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಅದರಿಂದ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ನೀವು ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೀರಿ, ಕೈವಲ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕರೀರಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೆಸರಿಂದ ಕರೀರಿ, ಆದರೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅದು. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಎಂಬುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಪದ ಏನೋ ತತ್ವಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಈ ರೀತಿಯೆಲ್ಲ ಪದವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತ. ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ, ಯೋಗ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸತ್ಯದ ಹೈಯರ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಕೇವಲ ಶಬ್ದ ಮಾತ್ರದಿಂದ ಹುಟ್ಟುವಂಥ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತಂದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು.
ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಿರ್ಬಂಧವಿಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಕೆಲವರು
Sir, can't understand.
Yeah, you see, if I have to say it again in English, but the question was, which are the 4 stages of life? So the stages of life were described as Brahmacharya Ashrama, the student life, and then the Grihastha Ashrama, the householder's life, and then Vanaprastha Ashrama, when one retires to Vana or forest, and there spending the time completely in philosophical thoughts, that was called Vanaprastha Ashrama. And finally, the 4th ashrama was called Sannyasa Ashrama, that is total renunciation, to renounce everything that belongs to this outer world and completely engaging oneself in philosophical thought and getting that realization. Only intellectually thinking about something or talking about that something is not the goal. The goal is that it should be in practice, and thus one should achieve that higher state, that is sannyasa ashrama. So she asked the question about 4 ashramas, therefore I said it. ನೀವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳುವಂಥವರು ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಕೇಳಿ.
ಸರ್
ಹೇಳಿ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಹಲೋ,
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ಹೇಳಿ.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BG ನಂದನ್ ಅಂತ ಸರ್.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಈಗ ನೀವು ವೇದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಋಗ್ವೇದ, ಯಜುರ್ವೇದ, ಸಾಮವೇದ, ಅಥರ್ವವೇದ 4 ವೇದಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಋಗ್ವೇದ ಮತ್ತು ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಭಾ, ಸಮಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಧಾತ ಅಂತ 3 ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಸರ್. ಆ ಸಭಾ, ಸಮಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಧಾತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾಗಾದಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಸೋಮರಸವನ್ನ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಕುಡಿದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾಗಾದಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿನಿ ಸರ್. ಮತ್ತು ಇದನ್ನ ವಿಧಾತನ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಅಂತನೂ ಕರೆದಾರ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾಗಾದಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಧರ್ಮದ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಅದು ವಿಧಾತ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಾವು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು
ನೋಡಿ
ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ವಿಚಾರ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ,
ಹೌದು ಸರ್,
ಯಜ್ಞಯಾಗಗಳ ಅಂಶ ಒಂದು, ಆದರೆ ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅನೇಕ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಋಗ್ವೇದ, ಯಜುರ್ವೇದ, ಸಾಮವೇದ ಎಂಬುವು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಪಾರಲೌಕಿಕ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ, ಅಂದರೆ ದೇವತೆಗಳು, ಸ್ವರ್ಗ, ಈ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತವೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದವು ಲೌಕಿಕವಾದ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಪಾರಲೌಕಿಕವಾದ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವಿಧವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಾಯಿಲೆಗಳು, ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ಸು, ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎಂಬುವಂಥ ವಿಚಾರವೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ರಾಜ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ರಾಜನು ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಎಂಬುದು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಧಾತ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮಾನವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪದ ಅದು ವಿಧಾತ ಅಂತ. ವಿಧಿಯನ್ನ, ದೇಶದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋನ್ಗೆ ವಿಧಾತ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಲೌಕಿಕವಾದ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಬರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದೇಶ, ಆಯುರ್ವೇದ, ಇಂಥ ಅನೇಕ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತವೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಮಂತ್ರಗಳಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಈ ಹುಡುಗಿನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳನ್ನು ವಶೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಥರ್ವ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಕೂಡ